because I got the chance to watch the Jacksonville and Bengals game. That was a ugly game for the Jacksonville. I can say that we were ugly, but Jacksonville losing that game with Joe Burrow hurt for honestly the rest of the season, 3 months. That's
Yeah.
still a lot, way too much time. 3 months. For Jacksonville to look the way they looked against Jake Browning, them losing the game to Browning, you don't really hear about him much because of Joe Burrow being starter. But overall, you can see that the Jaguars, they are still that team that they step on their own foot a lot. They'll fight themselves too much. Their defense is, I would say, subpar at best, to where I believe we can score against them, because it happens every season. We always come out against Jacksonville in Jacksonville, which is going to happen this Sunday, and beat the brakes off of them, or just look too good against them. Like, we have too much talent against them. So that's what I'm hopeful for this Sunday. That's what we'll see this Sunday. But with Jaguars offense, I feel Jaguars offense is, how can I say, bipolar at best. Like, they'll look good and then they'll just go cold. I don't know if you saw it, but did you see Trevor Lawrence, their coach was yelling at him, telling him to step up. Trevor Lawrence was waving him off, and I'm like, oh, that's not a good sign with your quarterback and coach, with your quarterback waving him off, being like, man, shut up. And it's yeah, that's not a good coach and a quarterback dynamic to watch. And even the announcers on that game were like, oh no, you can't be letting your quarterback wave you off like that. And me, from as a perspective of the Jaguars, I already see Trevor Lawrence as a bust. He's nothing to me. But it's still, to me, he can still have his good games, but he will step on his feet a lot. So we've had enough time with DeMeco Ryans and our defense playing against Trevor Lawrence each year that he's coached us. We've pretty much had good games against Trevor Lawrence defensively. So we'll see what happens against with our defense against their offense. But it's all about our offense against their. It's not even about our offense against their defense. It's about our offense showing who they are in this third game. Because if they still don't look good in this third game, if they don't score a touchdown, that's what I'm gonna look at. If they don't score a touchdown in the red zone, I'm gonna just call it. Even if it is a W, I'm still gonna call this offense it's not a playoff team. This is just terrible. I would love to see maybe 2 or 3 red zone touchdowns. I don't care if it's a run. I don't care if it's a QB sneak. I don't care. It's just red zone touchdowns that you need to score. I don't even want to see Kaimi come out for a field goal. I want to see him come out for an attempt after a touchdown. That's how desperate I am. I want to feel happier than just being oh, great, a decent touchdown just for us to wait maybe 2 more quarters for another touchdown. No, I want a touchdown on one drive and another touchdown on another. That's all I'm asking for. You promised us this good offensive scheme in the offseason. At this point now, I hate the fact that we hired somebody that's new to the OC job. Yeah, Nick Caley was with Sean McVay as his little right-hand man, pass game coordinator. It's just pass game coordinator and tight ends coach. I'm not calling that, oh, he called plays, because he didn't. It was Sean McVay. You could have hired somebody I don't know, Mike McCarthy, somebody who has OC, tendencies. Who else? Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly is a veteran of the NFL who's called OC, offensive play calls before. It's getting people who know what they're calling, especially for a team that wants to win, who wants to get a ring finally. And another thing I was going to quote on was they interviewed Todd Bowles, the Tampa Bay's head coach, today. They said, "Oh, how was Atlanta's offense compared to Texans offense? Going through the schemes and all that." He said pretty much Atlanta's offense was reminiscent of the Rams with Sean McVay. Meanwhile, he said he felt as if we were running a Patriots scheme offense. I'm like, oh, hell, man, no. I'm tired of hearing about the Patriots. We have always been named the Patriots of the South for so long, and we still are. We still are named pretty much Patriots of the South, and I hate it, dude. It is terrible. Once I hear that, I'm like, all right, this season's washed, because if we're getting called Patriots of the South another season, that's it. I see no hope of us going forward. Yeah, we can. It's still early in the season. We can still make the playoffs, but this is an offense that I don't see moving in the playoffs farther than they should be, unless out of nowhere, when we go play Jacksonville this Sunday, they just blow up their offense. Like they just caught a new life, something like that. But overall, I'm going to be looking at everything with this game. I want to call it a W, but I don't even know with this offense. But we always tend to win in Jacksonville, so I'll call it a W. I'll say, dude, I don't even know at this point. We scored 9 last week. We scored 19 this week. So I'm gonna say we'll win 23 to 13. I'll call it that. But overall, it's just
23 to 13.
Overall, it's just calling that out. Defense needs to settle some things because last week their tackling was horrible. They, for some reason, were making nothing but arm tackles against Bucky Irvin. You don't make arm tackles against Bucky Irvin. It's a tough running back.
No, not Bucky Irvin.
Like, he was literally getting his yardage. Yeah. He was averaging 4.2, and Rachaad White was averaging 6.5 yards a carry. It's like, hell no. And there was also a play where we could have ended the game last week. It was 4th and 10. It was 4th and long. We blitzed our main guys. Secondary was holding their own. Henry Toto was going to make the tackle to honestly end the game to make the sack on Baker. Henry Toto blew on the tackle. Baker ran, got the first down. That was the game. He pretty much ran, got the first down. That was the drive to win the game. Yeah. So defense, I'm like I said, I'm not going to put blame on the defense from last week. They were exhausted. The offense kept making them get back and on the field, off and on the field, which that's why I'm not going to blame the defense, but they do need to fix up some things because the flags were bad. Defense had like about 6 flags last week, so they need to fix that up. Secondary did good. Like one screenshot I took from Twitter that I saw was Derek Stingley was covering Mike Evans all game. Of 29 of Evans' 39 routes, resulting in, this is from Stingley against Mike Evans, 9 targets, but Mike Evans against Derek Stingley only had 3 receptions for 36 yards. So Derek has been holding his own as an All-Pro. So, he's been holding his own. So I believe this defense will, still look good, especially, against a rival team like the Jaguars, who we play every 2 times every year. So, like I said, I'll call this a W, 23-13. Overall, I'm not going to worry about the defense. Yeah, I'll be, calling them out for certain things like tackling or missed coverage, but it's all going to be about the offense. But, how do you feel about our game coming up?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I think the Jaguars, even you look at the matchup predictions on ESPN, 52.9% for the Jaguars, and you got 46.7% for the Texans. You look at the beginning of the season, those odds would have definitely been in Texans' favor. But now with the 0-2 start, and Texans, if you think about it, are in a little bit similar of a boat as like Tennessee, as you guys face tough teams the first 2 weeks, but are obviously a better team than Tennessee, if that makes sense. I would say Texans are obviously a better team than Tennessee. But when you look at it, I mean, both the Texans and Tennessee got just tough games through the first 2 weeks, and that's why the 0-2 start occurred. And, when you look at Jacksonville, they got that week 1 win against the Panthers. And then week 2, they faced the Bengals. And, of course, just a, ugly loss against the Bengals. Maybe should have been a win for Jacksonville if they would have just taken care of business. But, just happened to be, Bengals and Drake Browning to get that win. Now I think Houston Texans, I'm going to predict them to win this game. I think it's going to be a tighter game than Texans fans might realize. Now, I'm going to say I wouldn't be surprised if Texans blew out the Jacksonville Jaguars just because the Jaguars defense is suspect, and I wouldn't be surprised if C.J. Stroud put up touchdowns today with Nico Collins. I'm going to give the Texans the win here. I'm going to say 23-16.
Okay. Yeah. And what I'm hoping for is that Jaguars are kind of dumb and they'd be like, and then they just say, hey, let's put Travis Hunter against Nico. Oh, I hope so. So that'd be something I'd like to see, because I can see Nico tearing somebody like Travis Hunter up because of size wise. But overall, what I want to see from the offense is us utilizing our rookies more, from Jaden Higgins to Jalen Noel, running a bit more, because our run game literally did look good at times, but at times it did fail. But I think it's based on situations. So I'm not going to say the run game is crap. I'm just saying that the run game is there, but it's got a little bit more improvement, which I believe it can happen. But with the receiving, I want to see Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel. I want to see more from Nico because he got 9 targets, but only 3 receptions as well, like Mike Evans. But because after that first touchdown to Nico, that was it. That was like all Nico's stat line. It was like, all right, we asked for more targets to Nico from the Rams game to the Buccaneers game. He got it, but they just decided, all right, let's go away from him. Like, dude, come on, man. This offense needs to settle up more. But from what I'm seeing on Twitter and all that, Christian Kirk was practicing today, so I'm hopeful for that. It'll be a revenge game for him against his former team, the Jaguars. So I hope. I mean, of course, one player can't be the full catalyst of an offense doing better, but I'm hopeful that Christian Kirk can, add that weaponry, which I'm hoping because he was there during the offseason practicing with CJ. And another thing I forgot to add was what kind of pissed me off before we started all this right now and all that was I saw a tweet of pretty much it was a tweet from CJ, a quote from CJ at the press conference, pretty much meaning like, oh, we're still getting our bearings. I didn't have much time to practice with the offense. I'm just like looking like, what do you mean you were all together this offseason? How do you not have time to practice with this offense in your scheme? So that pissed me off. I was just like, okay, whatever. We're just gonna move on.